Number 4 in the countdown. We're actually going to kind of, go off the script a little bit and not just the decade. 2009, an unbelievable game with North Central. Felt like we needed to include this one. So a little vary from the script a little bit there. There's 250 teams in Division III football, and I think by our count, in the last 11 years, there's only about maybe 30 teams that have had a win against a top 4 opponent like North Central was at this point. They finished 2008 11-1, best season at that point in the history of their program. They were number 4 preseason, and after this game, this great win for the Bears, they ended up winning 55-0, as well as I think 55-0, 69-18, 58-0, and 83-7 in consecutive weeks. So obviously a really, really good football team that we were able to start this season, off with just a huge win. So we'll get the film cranking right here at first quarter of this game. Get out in some empty here, Devin.
Yeah, so we get kind of rolling right there. First game of the year, everybody's trying to kind of figure each other out. So a little look with me here. And then Kyle kind of buying some time and finding Brooke Crawford, who had a big game here and really all season into the next season, getting that first down.
I think now we're still in the first quarter. We got down 7-0, actually 6-0, and they were this quarterback was a stud, all region player of the year before, Glenn.
Yeah, I think the defense is, led by a good senior group at that linebacker level, Jake Myers and Adam Jones and Gabe Washington and folks like that. It was a good mix of just representation from senior leadership to some pieces that were added, whether they be first-year players or maybe sophomore-type players. So just real good, Josh Horn and Trevor Hendrickson there is kind of the bookends. David Rush, I think, and some of those guys up front, defensive tackle, and you still had Eric Wensler as maybe a junior or a guy who could maybe have an extra
ability. Great interception by Jesse coming to the wide side.
Oh, yeah.
Jesse Richards, huge play. Okay, still in the I think we're still in the first quarter here and trying to answer their 6-0 lead, Devin, after that turnover.
Yeah, I think what you'll see in this game is when you play these premier defenses, great catch and run by Justin Lindsay. If you're in the red zone, you got to get touchdowns and not field goals because you're not going to get down there too many times. And they did a good job of executing. Brent had 144 rushing yards, and this is one of his 3 touchdowns on the day. So a nice physical day from him and some plays made by Jay Linz and Kyle to get us down there.
No doubt. Okay, here we go. Still in the first quarter. And one of the stories of the day was, just like some of the defensive linemen stepping up here, Glenn. I think we get some pressure.
Yeah, I mean, this group was, very in tune to the defensive in general, and they were very good technicians, to hold a team like this with the season they had before, the powerfulness that they had, explosiveness. 270 total yards was a great win and set the standard for the rest of the year.
A lot of unselfish guys here, too. We have some, Josh Bowman was a junior who ended up being a starter the next year. Just every yard counts. And here's a guy, Josh, just laying a guy out on punt coverage. And Josh probably a guy good enough to be a starter on many other teams this year. And he was a key guy who rotated, but there he is making plays in special teams. Ended up having a really good year the next year as a senior as well. So they're threatening. It's going to be a heck of a play by Chad Coward, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, Chad is, his effort was unmatched, and his attitude obviously always positive, high energy guy. This group just had a real good kind of gel to it. Maybe a little sour taste in their mouth from the 2008 season. Maybe didn't start the way they wanted it to, and the seniors kind of drew the line in the sand and kind of had that standard, and everyone kind of had to measure up to that standard. So a good group effort.
I think we're in the second quarter at this point, and let's see what we got here in the second quarter.
Yeah, so again, just Kyle doing some things with his feet. they kind of drop into coverage, and if you can get 3 or 4 of those from your quarterback in these tight ball games, it's definitely going to help. And then come right back with what I think is going to be a big run from Brent here. It looks like a little power play. Great offensive line, very experienced, which always helps, especially in these early games with Rick Ingold, Andrew Benchick, Pat Smith, Justin Southwick, and Pat Dodgenitz across the front. A lot of guys that had some experience coming into that game.
When you think about that O-line, how about, what was it, Friday? We had a Zoom call. I know you were on there for a while, and I was on there as well. And I think they had 4 of those 5 guys from, 10, 11 years ago on a Zoom call on a Friday night. So pretty cool to see, again, how tight that group was.
Yeah, for sure.
Good pressure right here, Glenn. Again, getting
up the middle. I think the defensive line did a good job. You see the defensive at the bottom, Trigby kind of, doing a little spy technique. And I think the tackle thought he was going to drop because of our zone pressure scheme. And he turned it up and got the half sack and just, became a real great player for us.
I think he was a sophomore that year, so he's kind of really breaking in the lineup with some other good defense. Allowed us to have some depth and rotate some guys. Another big stop there. It's probably late in the second or early third at this point. To get a little empty with a unique little bunch formation.
Yeah, it's always good in these early games. Just try to mix something up and a little empty bunch to the boundary. Just throw a little wrinkle in there.
It looks like at this point it's a 14-13 game in the third quarter at this point. Oop, missed a play there. Let me just back that up just a little bit. A little more.
Yeah, great job by Justin Lindsay here. Getting out on the edge. Anytime he got the ball in space, you knew always potential for a big play, and played it pretty good on defense there, but it definitely stresses them a little bit to see that speed and athleticism get out there wide.
Yeah, great. Some good perimeter blocks and Justin making some things happen. Okay, now we're back on defense.
Yeah, there's just so many factors on defense, in football in general when it's the first game of the year and, it's kind of hot and you don't know what your conditioning is going to be and you're playing a really top-level opponent. So I think these guys answered that. They scored 13, I think, in the first, and they didn't score again until a touchdown with a missed 2-point conversion, I think, maybe midway through the fourth or
Yep.
So it was just good to see those guys kind of respond to the training they did in camp and all that kind of stuff.
We have the lead, so every possession is key now, right, Devin?
Yeah, and this is just a good inside physical run by Brent. Good fits up front. And this was kind of typical of his day. 29 carries, 144 yards, and 3 scores.
Late third. We're trying to see if we can extend that lead a little bit. Field position and field position obviously is key at this point, late third, early fourth, as well as time of possession, is keeping them off the field because they had a lot of weapons.
Yeah, so good job up front against the low rush. 8 guys drop back into coverage. Kyle realizes that there's not going to be a lot of windows there. And instead of 2nd and 10, he's the guy that can get you to 1st and 10 on, rushing for 12 yards.
I think we got Eric in here. We're sliding some guys around, maybe due to injury or whatever, but Eric Wensler's in there at nickel. Makes a big play here, Glenn.
Yeah, I think just the skill set of the secondary, this year and the few years to follow, just the amount of interceptions they had, it was unbelievable. I think we had 3 interceptions this game off of a returning all-region quarterback, like you mentioned earlier. So, that carried itself through not only this year, but the years to follow.
Pretty sure that quarterback, if I looked at his stats the rest of the year, I don't think he had more than 3 in the next 9 games. This is a great time to bust Eric Wensler's chops, though, not for staying on his feet, and see if he can get a few more yards, though. Come on, Wen, stay on your feet. I know he's going to give me a hard time, so I might as well give him a hard time about something. Okay. Fourth, I think still late third, early fourth here. Really good catch on 3rd down. Boy.
Yeah, great catch by Justin here. Finds that soft spot in the zone. And again, in these tight games, man, just to be able to move the chains and keep the ball, definitely a huge play here.
Great example. The thing I love about Jay Lenz too is that he played without a doubt his best football his senior year. Guys that are patient, guys that hang in there, and seeing a play like that is huge.
Big crowd here.
Just trying to extend that lead and just a big throw and catch. Simmons to Fleming, great job, good protection.
I don't know if great protection is the word I'd use there, but
good service.
We got a lot. All right, so down in the red zone again, talking, got to get touchdowns. Field goals aren't going to do it. And, again, just a great job by Kyle using his feet, understanding the situation of the game, and putting us in position to get into a short yardage goal line opportunity.
And here we go. See that cannon shooting off. Big play here. Again, it looks like last play pretty much of the third quarter. Great way to finish the third and go into the fourth with a nice lead here. Okay, so now we're in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think we're in the fourth quarter with a lead, and obviously the pressure kind of maybe mounts on the defense a little bit to make sure they're not giving anything up late. That they're able to kind of screw in the tacks and anchor down.
I don't think tacks screw in.
Well, they push in.
They do.
But sometimes you have to twist them because pushing them in doesn't get it quite done.
Just another kind of typical run here from Brent, especially later in the game, always important.
Keeping that clock moving, man, just huge. Again, you can't emphasize enough how even sometimes if it's not points in situations like this, keeping the clock moving, keeping them off the field is just huge. I think we might have had the ball for, if I remember correctly, about the last 6 to 7 minutes of the game.
Yeah, this is the one that kind of iced it. Just took the one-on-one to Brooke, goes up, gets it, and I think that gave us a chance to really run it down.
No doubt. Big play right there. And then I think we get one more first down, I think, and that's about all she wrote. So fun game to relive. Again, technically not in a decade, but we'll squeeze it in there because it was so much fun and a great memory. So appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thank you.